Okay, cool. All right, let me
Okay.
do the intro. Hey everyone, this is David. Welcome back behind the velvet rope. Let's just get right into it today because we are joined by the one, the only Michael Lohan.
Woohoo! How are you, David?
You're
Yes.
we were just talking. You're in Texas where you live. You're in 103-degree weather.
Yeah, it's hot down here, very hot.
I mean, does that make you miss, Long Island, New York? I know you lived in LA for part of
Yeah,
your time.
I'm a beach kind of guy, and I love the water. And I mean, the nearest body of water here is Galveston, and it's like brown water, and you have to be careful with the bacteria count down there. So it's kind of tough, but it's a beautiful area. People are great here, but I miss home. I miss the water. Whether it be in Boca Raton, Florida, where we were, or in Southampton, Long Island, Cold Spring Harbor, Long Island. It's just beautiful out there. And, it's nice to be able to just, take a stroll down to the beach, just walk right over to the beach. And you
I,
can't do that here.
You can't do that. See, and here I am in the Hamptons, and you know that I'm not even a beach person, believe it or
Don't
not.
get me jealous. You're getting me homesick now. Don't do that.
You're gonna come visit. We're gonna meet. I mean, we were referred to each other by Rachel Yucatel. So like let's
Yeah,
give her a shout out. We love our Rachel.
yeah, Rachel's awesome.
I like, my show because she has a great podcast now, Misunderstood with Rachel. You could tell my show is similar. Like, I like to talk to people where there's this public persona, and there's a lot of stuff out there, and it may not be exactly accurate, or we're all humans. There's a lot, to a human being behind the public headlines.
Right.
I feel like, you kind of like the first that I remember hearing of you really was back in the day, when you were kind of, when you were incarcerated, like the way back, for not talking, you were being investigated for insider trading and you didn't really want to talk. Basically, you didn't want to rat a bunch of people out. You were
Right.
held in contempt of court. When you think back to that time in your life, like, do you have vivid memories of that time, or does that truly seem like another lifetime to you?
Well, both. I mean, it was another lifetime. It was in the past, but at the same time, I mean, it's very vivid. I can remember everything. When you're a contempt case, they're not easy on you. They transferred me from one place to the other. They kept me in either maximum or super high or medium security facilities, and then I worked my way down to a camp. But it was what it was. You adapt. You have to be a chameleon. You adapt to your environment, and by the grace of God, I was around a lot of people I knew from the street. And when you are in it, if you're in a facility and people, they all know what you're charged with. And when you're charged with contempt and you're known for not being a rat, they give you a certain amount of respect. And I was treated really well.
I mean, talk to me about that because, listen, there's a lot of people like this is, a pretty big reality TV fan base that listens to this podcast. Like we've seen it on Mob Wives, like Jersey Housewives, which is on now, well, just ended its last season. It always does come out. Like the worst thing is to be a rat. I just sat down with Bo Dietl. He went on about the worst thing to be as a rat. Like, is that really the case?
Absolutely. And, I was just charged with patient brokering by a guy that ratted me out, and I didn't even do it. I mean, Rachel saw I took 3 polygraph tests and I took a voice stress test and passed every question and every test, and they still charged me. But, the guy that ratted me out is still on the street. He was facing 61 months, and it looks like he's not going to do any time.
Wow.
Yeah.
And is that really what it is? And that's really how it works, right? You rat someone out, whether they're guilty or not, and then you get to walk away. That's really what it is.
Yeah, that's not what I'm made of or not what I was brought up to be. I'm from a really Irish Italian family, and my family is just very, they have this certain amount of dignity and loyalty that you carry with yourself that other people don't. And that caused a lot of problems even in my daughter's career and the way people around her would just, you want to be around people that are, have some substance to themselves. And a lot of the people in the entertainment industry are far from that. So I didn't get along with a lot of people in that industry.
They are far from that. What advice would you give to someone like, there are a lot of people like the Chrisleys. I don't know if you follow any of these cases, like Jen Shah, she's a Salt Lake housewife. Like they just are starting sentences like 5 years, 12 years. Like what advice would you have to someone that's just kind of starting a long sentence?
Uh, um, just be yourself and stand your ground. Don't cave in to people in there, and just just do the right thing. Even when you're in jail, do the right thing. You can't, a lot of people even rat other people out in jail, and there's drugs come in and contraband come in and so on and so forth. Turn a blind eye and just pretend you don't know what's going on. That's the best way to survive in jail.
Like
And
just
keep your mouth shut. Respect means a lot when you're in prison. I mean, you've got to respect the other people around you, respect their space, their property. You just there's certain there's jailhouse rules that you have to follow.
what about someone like a Jen Shah who went in? She says that she's been there like for a few months, that she's completely zen now. I mean, she was charged with like a lot of crimes and she's already changed. Like, is it possible to just have like a metamorphosis, very quickly, like within the first few months, you think?
Yeah, for some people it is. Yeah, sure. For some people, it's very traumatic and shocking, and they can't adapt right away, and it takes a long time. Some people break, they crack, and they wind up losing it. But for the most part, people learn to adapt, and you just have to surround yourself with a certain group of people. Pick your group, and just hang out in that with that group in that area, and just do the right thing. That's it.
Wow. What about, one thing I admire about you is, you have owned your shit throughout all these years, right? Like you just say, yes, I'm this, I'm that, I was incarcerated, which I mean, we all own our shit, right? We all have shit. Why do you think so many people like on reality TV and in the public eye just lie, basically? They try to spin a narrative of who they are. And it's like, you're in the public eye. We're going to figure this out.
Yeah, well, sooner or later the truth comes out anyway. But you just have to. It's all a matter of a person too. If you can learn to be like a duck, where you just let the water fly off your back or not. And look at David. I wasn't that way all the time. I was very confrontational at the beginning when all this fame and stardom came to Lindsay, and people were surrounding us, and we were under a microscope. And then Dean and I had our troubles. People started saying things, and especially when they said things about my daughter, you can say whatever you want about me. I'm a big boy. I can handle my own ground, but do not mess with my kids. Never. And when they said things that were incorrect about my daughter, I stepped to the plate. And I realized that that wasn't even my place anyway, because, then you get mixed up in the whole mess of the media and they start attacking you. And I really didn't need to do that. It's just, you learn as you go along. And I just, you have to pick your battles. Who's worth it, what's not worth it. And at the end of the day, none of it's really worth it. It really isn't. Just go on with your life and let people say what they're going to say. The unfortunate part, though, David, is that no matter what's put out there, right, wrong, or indifferent, especially when